what's going on, guys? I apologize for the very iffy lighting. I'll do my best to like fix that up in post. Anyway, I figured it's been a while since we did a setup tour, so I got my phone on the tripod and we're gonna tour the setup. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna do a little tour of the PC setup. So normally I would have this Death Star on and it would be like glowing different colors. This is also an RGB light. Basically, it has like all the different colors like purple, red, purple, green, or it can like kind of do this thing where it like switches colors or whatever, sort of like my mouse pad here where it'll kind of like phase in and out. It looks really cool and I wish that I could have got it on before this, but I don't have like a spare USB to plug this in at the moment. And then as for like the keyboard and the mouse and such, this is a little bit different from the last time you guys saw it. So the last time you guys saw it, the only thing that was able to glow was actually like the keyboard and the mouse, but I finally freed up a spare like plug USB thing on my PC, so I was able to actually get my mouse pad to glow this time. But yeah, it looks absolutely beautiful. I wish that I had a better lighting solution for back here. I'm just gonna have to like kind of work with this desk lamp and just use this as like my secondary light as we go. Then for the monitor, we got the same thing as last time. It is an Acer. I believe it is a 1440p 90 hertz monitor. Don't quote me on that. It's either 1440p 60 or it's 1440p 90. Regardless, I only ever use anything on this for like 60 hertz. Like I don't ever play games above 60 FPS. It's just I don't need all that extra FPS. And you're probably hearing that going, what are you talking about? You don't need all that extra FPS. Well, you can see all the emulators right here. I play a lot of like emulation based games on this PC more than like if I'm on this PC, like I do have some modern games installed, but most of the time when I'm gaming over here, it's on these games. And if you know anything about, old school games, sometimes raising games above 60 FPS, heck, even above 30 FPS can kind of break the games and the way that the mechanics are supposed to work. So that's why I don't end up using most of my programs above 60. Also, for those of you curious, I'll just go ahead and minimize my OBS. This is my wallpaper, The Last of Us Part 1, and I know that I've had it off for the rest of this video. Very unprofessional. I wanted to have like all the RGB going and, have the Death Star going and have like my second monitor going before I start recording, but, I'm not very good at this whole vlogging thing. Anyway, I also have a second monitor over here. This is just an old school, my monitor arm's it's struggling because this is a heavy monitor. I'm gonna have to like tighten the screws on that. This monitor is actually pretty old. This is a 1600 by 900p monitor. It's from, I don't even want to know what year it's from, but it's also a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. It is 60 hertz, thankfully, but it's like another Acer monitor. Again, when I sit down, you can see what I mean. Like, the normal monitor, it's facing the way that it should, but then over here, this one's kind of like slanted, like it should be facing up like this a bit more like, so I'm gonna have to tighten the screws on that. It's not a huge deal. I don't really use my second monitor a whole lot. I used to use it a lot whenever I was like, like streaming and I'd want to pull up chat on the second screen, but nowadays I usually just use this whenever I'm recording like a video on here, so then I like pull up my OBS over here, or say like I'm managing different files, or maybe I'm trying to like edit and do certain things at the same time. I'll like pull certain things up on the other monitor, but if I'm gonna be honest, most of the time I'm mainly just focused on this main monitor here. And then over here, this is the new part of the setup. So I believe this TV may have been here the last time that I made a video over here, but what is new is I have these RCA speakers, because basically whenever I try to plug an HDMI into my computer into one of my other sources, like the monitor for example, it won't put the audio out through there. The only way I can get audio out of my PC is if I plug something into the audio jack. So what I did is I took these RCA speakers. It's like a CD player. I used to use it for CD players, but now it's going to be used for over here, because basically what I'm going to do is I also have this recliner over here, as you guys can see. I know there's like books on it and stuff. I was rearranging my room yesterday, so I got to kind of like move some stuff around, but basically once those books are moved from here, I'm going to sit in this recliner and then I'm going to turn on this TV, and basically what I have is I have an HDMI splitter. There's one output going from my PC into the said splitter, and then that splitter sends it out to two different signals. Those two different signals being one, my PC here, but then obviously that second monitor, that's just kind of running off at the same thing, but the signal that is going to this PC here goes to this TV, which if I can just kind of move some of my plushies out of the way real quick, I'll be able to show you guys. But as you can see, the TV also displays what is on my main monitor here, so it's not really like a 3-monitor setup. It's just more or less whenever I feel like chilling and gaming over here, I plug a controller into my PC, which is down there, and then I hook it up, I just kind of sit in this recliner here, and then I look at the TV, and then usually I'll just kind of end up turning off this monitor, just turn that off, and then I usually end up turning that one off too, and just kind of focusing on the TV, playing that. Again, I don't do like a whole lot of gaming back here. Usually if I'm back here at this setup, I am recording, I'm working, I'm doing something related to work, but if I do have those times where I'm like, okay, I want to emulate maybe something like Black Ops 3, there's custom zombies on there, then I'll come back here, plug in the controller, play on the TV for a little bit, and that's also where I'll use the RCA speakers and the sound comes out through there. But otherwise, yeah, that's that for that setup, really. Usually, I'm trying to find a better place for these plushies, because as much as I love having them here on the desk, obviously it's kind of annoying having to move them out of the way every single time that I want to use the TV. So I'm going to have to figure something out. I'm going to have to move them somewhere else. But yeah, that's kind of how this setup is looking at the moment. There's also some stuff down here. There's a lot of notebooks and like coloring books and pencils and pens, and you can see down there's like a third-party Xbox controller, which I want to get like a dedicated Series X controller for back here, but I also have a DualShock 4 and a pair of RIG 400HS. For anyone curious, when I'm using my PC, I have these generic Acer speakers. I only use the RCA ones when I'm like gaming and I want that punch in the sound. And then right here I also have like a Lego Ninjago car and all my minifigures. They watch me while I edit, we all chill. And I also have my old Xbox One down there. It doesn't exactly work the best, but I mean like it works sometimes, so like I'm leaving it out just in case there's ever a scenario where I'd want to record off of Xbox back here for some reason. I don't really see a situation where that happens because that's the old Xbox I was telling you guys about, like back when we were making the first Dark Souls series, where like it kept corrupting and I had to keep factory resetting it. So, you know, it doesn't exactly work at the moment. I might try to open it up one day and see if I can fix it. But yeah, as of now, it's kind of just there as like, not necessarily a paperweight, but there's not much I can do with it. Now, over to the setup where I spend most of my time. As you can see, it's a little bit of a mess. I feel bad. I used to play guitar a lot. Like, for those of you that don't know, like, I used to play guitar all the time. I was super into it. I was actually kind of halfway decent too, but it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but there's a lot of dust on both the amp and the guitar right now. I haven't played in a while. Usually whenever I record, this is where I'm sitting, like, right here on the futon. But then on the other side of the face cam, I'll just kind of run through all the consoles that I have hooked up right now. I got the Xbox 360, the PS3, the Xbox One X. That is on a vertical stand, don't worry. You are able to stand up both the Xbox One S and Xbox One X if you have a vertical stand, but you cannot do it without the vertical stand, so don't try it because you will overheat your console. But if you get the stand, you're all good. I also got the SNES Mini right there. That is a great console. Now, some people might be like, why don't you have an original SNES? And correction, I actually do, but the reason I like the SNES Mini is because once you hack it or mod it or whatever, well, let's just say the possibilities are endless. And then we have a PS2 Slim right there, the original Xbox. That is one chunky boy. This thing gives the PS5 a run for its money in terms of sheer size. This thing is massive. Then we got the PS4 Slim up there, the Nintendo Switch OLED, and a Wii U also on a vertical stand. Another console you cannot just put on its side, you know, horizontally, otherwise it would kind of just fall over. Get a vertical stand, then it works just fine. And then I also have my HDMI splitter right here, which has a 30-foot HDMI cable. As you can see right here, that 30-foot HDMI cable runs all the way back over to that setup and into the OBS, which you guys just saw earlier, where Modern Warfare 2 is pulled up over here, and then it was pulled up over there. I have, you know, whatever console I want to record off of, it goes into the input. One signal goes out to the TV, one goes out to the OBS over there, and then I also have a USB plugged into here because obviously the HDMI splitter requires a bit of power in order to push out the proper image and hertz and stuff like that, because usually when it comes to stuff like that, if you pick up a splitter or like a converter of some kind and it doesn't require a power supply or a power source of some kind, chances are it's not going to be as good as it could be if you would have just got one that does use another power source or power supply. Sure, it is a little inconvenient having to take up another outlet spot in order to, you know, get the best out of your splitter or whatever you're trying to use, but in the long run, it's definitely always worth it. And then over here, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but I kind of just have like a stack of controllers that I keep next to me. So then, like, while I'm gaming, if I want to switch to my PS3, boom, right there, PS3 controller, we're good to go. If I want to play Xbox 360, that's right there. Also, this thing that I started using anytime that I emulate on my phone, I just, you know, kind of like stretch it open, put it around my phone, and then yeah, I can play whatever I want on my phone, whether that be like DS games, PSP games, PS2 games, whatever. This thing is really cool. It was only like, well, like 10, 15 bucks maybe with shipping. It's called the D3 or the BP DS3, something like that. It's a cheaper controller, but you know, I just wanted something cheap to get me by. It's not like I'm playing on my phone a whole lot. I do want to upgrade to the Razer Kishi V2 at some point. There was people recommending online for like the GameSir X2, whatever. It looks like a decent controller, but for me personally, the Razer Kishi V2 seems like more my speed, so that's what I'm going to go for when I do upgrade down the line. Also, I already teased you guys with it, so I might as well at least try to play it. This thing is extremely, like, it is so dusty. Even trying to play it, I already know dust is going to come flying off of it. My tripod, bad angles. I am YouTuber. Now, this thing is going to be extremely out of tune, and I don't even have a pick. I'm going to try to use my fingernail, but let's see if the mic will even pick any of the sound up. I hope it does. Oh, that is so out of tune. Oh, dude, trying to play that song out of tune and without a pick is impossible. Smells Like Teen Spirit sounds unrecognizable when your guitar is out of tune. Yeah, I need to find a pick. Trying to play with my fingernail is just, it's not happening. But anyway, this was another setup tour. I figured, you know, I did do one. Oh God, there's dust all over my leg now. I did just do a setup tour like a couple of months ago, but I figured there's been enough new additions to my setup that it kind of warranted making an updated video on it. If you guys want more vlogging, oh my god, dude, my angles are so bad. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going with the flow. Whatever happens, happens, but these angles are terrible. Anyway, if you guys want more videos like this, like more vloggy type videos like this, just let me know. I have a lot of fun making videos like this, just kind of like pulling the curtain back, letting you guys see behind the scenes what goes on in this chaotic little world of mine. But anyway, as always, a massive shout out, thank you to all the patrons and channel members. Thank you to all of you in the low baller tier, and even bigger shout out, thank you to all of you in the big baller tier, Mellow Asking, Emmy, Daddy, Manny, and the biggest shout out, thank you all to all of you in the G tier, Run Avengers, and Low Cheese Scroll. Thank you guys so much. You guys are literal legends. I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. Stay beautiful. I love you all. Peace.